50 to 55 years old to realize that what I was learning from the Catholic Church was not really what was in the Bible. What does the Catholic Church tell you about what you have to do to go to heaven?
To get to heaven?
Yeah.
Try to obey the commandments.
Be a good person.
Yeah, be a good person.
I remember so much guilt, always worrying about sinning, and then we go to confession and all this stuff. And when I started learning about the Bible, about Christianity, I'm like, all that guilt started to go away, because I didn't learn previously that all you need to do is accept Christ, say I'm a sinner, and ask for forgiveness. And all of a sudden, life started going. I said, you ever read the Bible in church?
Yes, I did.
A little bit.
But we are kind of passing over an important part of that.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I mean, you said you have to accept that you're a sinner, but you said you don't even believe in the commandments.
I do believe, but not all of them.
Okay, but what one would you say you believe in? Have you ever told a lie?
Yes.
Is that a commandment you believe in?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? It's not always a bad thing to tell lies? If I told you I was an astronaut, and then you found out I was just this schmuck right in front of you, what would you call me?
Liar.
You're a liar, right? Wait, is that a big lie?
No, it's a little lie.
But is that so? But you're still willing to call me a liar for it, aren't you? And it doesn't matter if I ever told a lie before in my life. Just for telling you that one lie, that one little lie, you're willing to declare me a liar. And you know what, Valeria?
Yeah.
That's a good thing, because that's exactly what I am. For telling one little lie, I'm a liar. The same way that somebody that commits one little murder is a murderer. Right? Because it's not just what you do, Valeria, it's who you do it against. Right? If you have a best friend, right, and you lied to that best friend, essentially you betrayed them, what's going to happen to that relationship?
Well, it all depends on what I lied for, but I mean the overall thing is...
Say you knew that your friend's boyfriend was cheating on her and you didn't tell her.
Oh, that for sure I would tell her.
Yeah, but you didn't. Say you didn't. Say you had a friendship with him too and you didn't want to break that, and she found out about it, what's likely going to happen?
We're never going to be friends again.
You're going to end that friendship just for betraying her, right? Now say you have a job and you steal documents from work. You essentially, and you want to give it to another company to give them a leg up. You're betraying your job. What's going to happen there?
I'd probably get fired.
Right. Now say you have a country and you sell secrets from this government to another government. What's going to happen? You know what that's called? It's called treason. You know what we do with treasonous people in this country?
Yeah.
Capital punishment. Right? It's the same crime. But it's who you did the crime against. You betray a friend, you lose it. You betray a job, you lose that job. You betray your government, you get murdered, you get killed, you get executed for it.
Yeah.
Now imagine what happens when you betray and break the commandments of a holy, just, eternal God. What do you think the penalty for that's going to be?
There must have been a really good reason.
For you to tell a lie?
Yeah.
Have you only told one lie in your life, Valeria?
No.
Probably told quite a few, right? Was there a good reason for every one of those lies, Valeria?
No.
Okay.
But some were good reasons.
But it doesn't matter. Like we've already established, even if you told one lie, you're guilty of breaking the entire law of God. That's what it tells us in James. And we're only looking at one commandment, but it's an important commandment. Do not lie. Do not bear false witness. God says every liar will have their place in the lake of fire. That's a very serious charge. It's a very serious thing. Let's look at another one. Have you ever stolen anything?
Stolen? Yeah.
Okay.
What is called stolen?
Well, once again, you're trying to equivocate, right? What do you call someone who takes something that doesn't belong to them?
I borrowed and gave it back.
That's what we call it? So if I went to a bank and I stole $1 million, I said, I plan to give this back, so I'm just borrowing it.
But what if it's like a sock?
A sock? What is it? If it's $1 out of your mom's purse, it doesn't matter. You're taking something that you haven't earned and that God did not give to you, and you're taking it because you're saying that it doesn't matter if I've earned it. I've declared that that belongs to me. Because based on my feelings, once again, I feel that that dollar is mine, I feel that that job is mine, I feel that that stock was mine, so I'm taking it because it's mine, and I've determined it, I've decided.
Yeah.
Right? What do we call somebody who takes things? A thief, right? Have you ever used God's name in vain?
No, I actually
You
don't.
sure?
Yeah, no,
Do you
I
text
don't.
OMG to your friends all the
But I
time?
always say, oh my gosh. I actually never say the Lord's name in vain.
Okay.
That was something, like, for some reason, I never did. Because, like, I don't know, I just grew up and I was like, I just feel no need to say it.
Okay.
I only say it when I'm actually talking about him.
All right. Well, it says in the Bible that you're supposed to honor your parents, right?
Yeah.
Have you honored your parents?
I don't know.
Have you ever been grounded?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever gotten spanked?
Yeah.
Did you deserve it?
Probably, yes,
So,
sometimes.
you probably did something that dishonored your parents at some point along the line, right, Valeria?
Well, yeah, I think everyone does. But,
I would say I've broken every commandment. Let's get that out on the table. I would assume my brother here has broken every commandment.
I still do.
Right? But Valeria, don't underestimate your responsibility here, right? You've admitted to being a liar and a thief and disobedient to your parents.
yeah.
If God judged you on Judgment Day, is He going to find you innocent or guilty?
I think God would probably, I don't know. I don't know what God
Well,
would do.
keep in mind, you've already admitted the crimes.
I mean, is God, like, real? Sometimes I wonder if
God
God's
is
like
very
an
real.
actual person. I don't think God's like a person.
God is very real.
I feel
Larry.
like God is just, I don't know, not a human.
He's
like,
declared Himself to be God. And what's worse is that the Bible tells me that because of creation itself, the fact that creation exists gives enough supportive evidence that you on Judgment Day are without an excuse to not believe in God. It says that you already know that God exists, but you suppress that truth in your unrighteousness because you love your sin more than you love your Creator.
maybe.
Don't forget, God is not mocked. There's nothing that's hidden from God's sight. God knows every single thing about you, and He knew it before you were even created. Jesus Christ said, I have not come to judge the world because the world is judged already. You already stand guilty before God. It's like you're standing before a judge for robbing a bank and you're saying, I don't know, I don't believe in stealing, so I don't think you can prove anything. And meanwhile, they're showing you the footage of you robbing the bank.
Yeah.
Right? You have no defense before God for not believing in Him.
Did you ever
And
used to go to confession?
Yeah, but I don't like talking to people, so I didn't really confess anything.
Because
At one time.
then what happens? They give you a bunch of prayers, and then supposedly you're supposed to
Yeah.
feel clear, and you start. But we start. So ever since Adam, thanks to Adam and Eve, we're all born to sin. We're always going to sin. What I found was, coming from a Catholic background, that I never really felt accepted or really sensed that God knew me or I knew Him, because it was all about having to be a good person, and it's impossible. When I started reading the Bible and learned what Christianity is about, not Catholicism, that God loves me, loves you, loves all of us, and He forgives us. I don't need to go tell my sins to anybody. And I know the promise exists that I will go to heaven. I know I'm going to sin again, but it gets easier and easier to not sin the more my relationship with God becomes more established. And it's very hard for me to sort of make that transition, but once I did, I have far more peace now than I ever did before. But what Anthony is saying is, that's exactly from the Bible, and we study the Bible. But as we never study the Bible in Catholic. I hate to make comparisons, but the things you learn is the Catholic faith, it's their own version, and what we learned was we start with accepting Christ. God chooses us, we accept, and then from there, all of a sudden it's like, I say to my friends, How come I didn't learn this, Tom? I have so much more peace through this. I'm speaking honestly here. I know what it's like to go through, Catholic school and the nuns and the priests and all this kind of stuff. We're out here because part of our job that God wants us to share the book, not to judge, not to criticize. We love to accept everybody, and anyone that sins is between them and God, not between the priest and the confessional or anybody else.
Larry,
It's so simple.
I know you're chilly. I know you want to leave because you're cold.
Actually not chilly.
Okay, you just look cold.
I just look really awkward.
No,
I don't feel awkward.
preaching to the choir here. So, but listen, you go to Catholic Church, right? You're about to start teaching children about God in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
They have a crucifix in that church, right?
Yeah.
What does that represent to you when you see an image of Christ on a cross?
When I see Christ on the cross, I think of a lot of pain and a lot of frustration.
Okay.
And because, he probably was like, you guys don't know, but it's true, and I'm just going to have to keep quiet and just let it happen, because it's supposed to happen.
So why did Christ die on that cross?
Because it's kind of what God told him to do, in a sense.
Okay. But was there purpose in it?
There was a purpose. I just can't remember the purpose of it.
Valeria, that purpose is the whole point of what I've been trying to get at, okay? Because it's the most important thing. This is the message. You might not want to believe that you've broken God's commandments, but the Bible tells us that you were created in the image of God and you have a responsibility to reflect His character. By being a liar, by being a thief, by being disobedient to your parents, and keep in mind, we only look for the commandments. There's another 6 we could look at and examine if you want. You probably don't. We don't have to. Like I said, I've broken all 10. By breaking the laws of God, you deserve to go to hell. And rightly so. The same way that a child molester, we see a child molester, and when he goes before a judge, we're like, yes, send that man to prison. If you must take his life, incarcerate that man, execute that man. That man is a man without hope. He's committed one of the most heinous crimes.
And he's supposed to stay there forever?
What, hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've broken the commandments of an eternal God. Therefore, the punishment must be eternal.
Will I stay in hell forever?
Yes.
Unless,
but we'll get to that. But that's the important thing. You have to understand the severity of breaking God's commandments. It says in the Bible that that the wages of sin is death. By breaking God's law, you've committed sin against Him. Right? The wages of sin is death. There's only one punishment. It's eternal damnation.
Well, I don't think anything's ever really eternal.
Well, if God is eternal, then that really depends completely on Him.
That's why I don't think God's like an actual thing.
Would you prefer to believe that the universe is eternal?
No.
Okay. So,
Because I don't think anything is eternal.
did the universe create itself?
No.
Okay. Was there a creator that created the universe?
Yes and no.
Yes
There was
and no?
something that started it.
Okay.
And
Well, either the universe created
scientifically-
itself.
I think scientifically something happened.
Well, the science tries to tell us all these things about the Big
but
Bang.
I also don't think this came out of nowhere. Because obviously, when you think about them, even to the most little finite details, like how do the atoms even start to move or whatever?
There's 3 possibilities. The universe has existed eternally and never began and never ended, and everything that you see here has always existed. B, there was absolutely nothing, and then randomly, for no reason, arbitrarily, the universe entirely exploded into existence for no reason. Or God exists, as He says He does, and declared Himself through creation by saying, "Let there be light."
What would happen if one day, something really crazy happened, and it proved God was fake all the time?
People have been trying to do that since science has existed, and nobody can. Matter of fact, the fact that crazy things have happened only do more to prove the existence of God. I have a basis to believe in miracles as being miracles. If you are going to tell me that the universe